I've been hiding something from you guys. For someone that claims to have both a gaming channel and friends, I know I'm already pushing my luck when it comes to my audience believing what I say. So what I'm about to tell you might come as a shock. I have a terrible habit of not finishing games. And when I say I have a terrible habit of not finishing games, it is way worse than it sounds. I mean, sure, one of my favorite hobbies is to get halfway through a game and then leave in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon like I'm going to the store for milk, knowing full well I have no intention of returning unless they one day get famous. If you missed that, that's a joke about absentee fathers. But no, I'm talking about literally getting into the last 5 minutes of a game and then turning it off. I get to the final area, I get to the final boss, and then I just quit. I even consider some of these games that I've left in their final moments to be among my favorites, which makes me nothing more than a fraud. So today, in an effort to save my rapidly diminishing reputation and to finally feel some of that alleged satisfaction that I hear people murmuring about, today I'm gonna figure out why I have this preposterous character flaw, why I have so much trouble seeing these games through to their bitter end, and to do so, I'm gonna finally beat some of the biggest offenders on my list. Now, the first game on my hit list might legitimately offend you guys so badly that you click off the video immediately. It's a game I've talked about and I've praised a lot in the past, but unfortunately, I have never beaten it. I have killed all the divine beasts, I have the master sword, and honestly, I have a lot of trouble remembering the majority of this game. I'm starting to realize that I might have a bigger task on my hands. I need to figure out how to play this game again. But I didn't let my fear get me down. I nervously opened the game, I cracked my knuckles, and I got ready to kick some canonical ass. But something was not quite right.
This looks like the starting area. No. Wait, I think this is the wrong save. I think this is the wrong save. Alright, 1 year ago. No. I think it's gone. I hadn't touched the game since 2019, but I remember exactly where I left. It was etched into my mind like the lyrics of Friday by Rebecca Black. Partying, partying, yeah. But one thing was absolutely certain. This feeble area was not the same area I left off in. I had no memory of this place. And reality quickly set in. Somewhere along the way, my save was overwritten by someone trying to start their Zelda game anew, not realizing the grave consequences of overwriting my save. I mean, they should have known I was gonna make a video about it in like 3 years. It's just so inconsiderate. But testing my sanity, I went to check my playtime to make sure that this whole Zelda playthrough wasn't just some twisted fever dream. And it was at this point that I seriously considered throwing this video in the garbage. Zelda was supposed to be the hook, the magnum opus of the video, the game that nobody would believe I didn't bother finishing. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this was actually the perfect example of the consequences of my actions. Not finishing Zelda when I had the chance directly led me to probably never finishing the game. I mean, I know that save files, and especially Nintendo save files, are extremely volatile, and if you're moving around with consoles and locations and accounts and storage cards, they're almost as likely to break as the weapons in Breath of the Wild. You see? I played the game. But knowing I'd have to start the game from scratch to finish Breath of the Wild really hurt. Something about the fact that I was no longer just a few moments away from finishing the game made the validity of my playthrough null and void. And it was a hard pill to swallow, but I was almost on my way to accidentally learning a lesson, like when I graduated college and I suddenly had knowledge of financial markets.
Oops.
But anyways, with the highlight of my video and the dumpster in my head and my hands, I turned to my next victim, but this time all hope was not lost. If we take a little step back in history, for the first 3 or so years of the release of the Switch, buyers were faced with one treacherous decision. Do they pick up Super Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild? And it's a near impossible choice because both games are so incredible in their own right. In many ways, it's like making a parent pick their favorite child, but just like my dad would quickly pick my brother, I immediately set my eyes on Mario. And it's definitely a hot take, deciding to opt for a really good Mario game over one of the best video games that redefine multiple genres, but clearly I'm not known for making great video game decisions. Plus, something about the bright colors and the jovial music appealed to my brain, you know, like a child. And when I first got it, I loved this game, and I played nonstop until the final boss fight. But I never felled the boss, I never saved the princess, and I certainly never got the satisfaction of finishing the game. I loaded up the game and I crossed my fingers, honestly I crossed my toes as well, and I pressed play. I wasn't on the church steps like I had last remembered, like I was in the middle of a rom-com, which almost made me throw my Switch through my monitor, but I was still close to the end.
Oh my god. This is another game that I'm just gonna have to learn the controls right from scratch right again.
Oh. You know, my problem is I wasn't playing with the Nintendo Switch 1 inch away from my face. Yeah, I'll, one sec. Let me get my cardboard box and put my Nintendo Switch one inch away from my face. That might help. I kept my cool and I hopped into the pre-final boss area, or as gamers like to say, the PFBA. And quickly, the game was coming back to me. I immediately remembered why I fell in love with the game in the first place, with its simple, satisfying gameplay and its explorative game design. Almost like a game for children. I rushed through the PFBA with little to no struggle, not even failing on the penultimate boss that's designed to be easy 7 times in a row. Actually, after watching this back, it makes me realize I really should have recorded with my hands above the table. But finally, I approached the church, just as I had in years past. And just as any time I walk into a church, I felt a bit ashamed as I walked through the doors, seeing Peach in Bowser's fiery arms that I left her in several years ago. But this was the fuel I needed, and gamer mode was immediately activated, and I knew that this game was getting finished tonight. I was dropped into the final boss arena, and quickly, memories of unbridled rage filled my head. It's one thing to take my lady, but to insult my attire. I know the fight might seem a bit simple to an onlooker with a sharp eye, but for a 23-year-old with a YouTube channel and bad gamer syndrome, or BGS, it was the hardest thing imaginable. I remembered the fight mechanics quickly, and honestly, I began to panic. I don't really remember the game plan for this one. First time I was dropped into this ring, I failed maybe 20 times before rage quitting and never coming back. Suddenly the pressure set in. If I couldn't beat this game that was again designed for children, I would look like a fool and my video would be in jeopardy. Trebek, what is Meraki? That's a dumb I thought it'd be funny because I said the video would be in jeopardy, you know? Okay, never mind. Oh, it's hard, it's hard. Is this a boss you're intended to beat like on the first try? Am I just exceptionally bad? Can't even say exceptionally right. Regardless, today I was Muhammad Ali. I was floating like a butterfly, I was stinging like an Italian plumber with a beer belly, and I gave Bowser the whopping of his life. I finally got to the second stage, which I had never gotten before, but sadly it wasn't a surprise because I'd seen so many videos by Small Ant, who just makes these videos I can't get my paws off of, but that's just yet another penalty for me taking 4 calendar years to finish the last 5 minutes of the game. I've never gotten this far, not once. Second try, that's not it. I know that's not it. I've watched speedruns of the game. There's gotta be more. Too good to be true. If I had a nickel for the amount of times my wedding was interrupted by a cube falling from the sky while I'm fighting a dinosaur, don't seem so excited to see me in Bowser's body. There's something Peach is not telling us. I threw a few more punches and I found myself at the end of the game watching a heartfelt cutscene that had all that incredible Mario charm. I mean, damn it, Chris Pratt still got it. And I saw something I hadn't seen in a while. The credits rolled and a smile crept onto my face. I mean, I hadn't seen the credits in a while. I've smiled before. I'm fine, guys. I'm fine. I was legitimately 5 minutes away from the end of this game, and I stopped in the middle of the final boss fight. Maybe I've improved as a gamer in the last 2 years. I don't know, but that was fun. That was fun. And I'm gonna skip through this part. It's not because I was crying, guys. It's a kid's game. I wouldn't shed a tear at that, but it left me with a weird feeling that kind of crept up behind me and leapt into my heart that was still aflutter from the final boss fight. From, again, a children's game. I felt happy, I felt proud, and I felt complete. Had me asking the question, was this satisfaction? But I know for a fact that Rolling Stones made that illegal in 1965. Regardless of what this rogue feeling was, I dilly-dallied for a bit in the Mushroom Kingdom before snapping myself back to reality. Maybe a chipmunk? Maybe a chipmunk? Sorry, Luigi. That doesn't interest me at all. The L stands for winner. Tell myself the same thing. This was no time for joy. This was no time for celebration. It was time for the third and final game in my sights. But while I mentally prepped for the final game, which was perhaps even more disgraceful than the first two, I thought back to the original question that caused me to make this video in the first place. Why did I stop these games right before the final boss fight? Why in general do I stop playing games before finishing them? The second part is a bit easier to answer. You see, it might come as a massive surprise, but for someone that hopefully used to have a lot of trouble uploading YouTube videos consistently, I also have a lot of trouble focusing on single player games. If only there was a name for when you have chronic issues with focusing. But when it comes to quitting a game and never coming back, I finally realized that it's due to breaking points. Every game has mechanics that you deem a bit too tedious, like grinding runes in Elden Ring. Every game has sections that are a bit harder than the rest of the game, like tidying up your shit show of an island to get KK Slider to come play a sick guitar solo on Animal Crossing, which is something I actually did, thank you very much. But when a game catches you at a time where your enjoyment is starting to plateau, and also happens to put an obstacle in front of you that's just a little too big for your waning patience, you have what's known as an adult meltdown.
and you close the game. I know that's confusing, here's a graph, but not all breaking points mean that the game is over. But when a breaking point happens to be too large and the only thing you can think about when you boot up the game is the thing that made you quit in the first place, you're gonna go, ew, gross, and you're never gonna open it again. But anyways, enough self-analysis. This isn't a therapy session. You're not my doctor. Let's get back to business and talk about the things that really matter. Pokemon. For a series about cute little monsters that you collect in battle, they sure do have a grip on the world economy. Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise of all time, nearly doubling the revenue of Star Wars, tripling the revenue of all the Disney princesses combined, and quadrupling the revenue of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Technically, by that logic, it is human canon that Darth Vader, Thanos, and Cinderella would get absolutely soloed by Pikachu. And honestly, I expected more from Cindy. The fact that Pokemon is 30 times more successful a media franchise than Zelda makes it even more, mathematically makes it 30 times more embarrassing that I've never beaten a Pokemon game. And to be fair, I never had a Game Boy, or a DS, or a 3DS, or a childhood, but that didn't stop me from playing Pokemon at every friend's house I ever went to, and from picking the hell out of my starter Pokemon time and time again. And sure, I got good grades because I wasn't addicted to Pokemon, but wouldn't it be so cool if I got bad grades and had a fuck ton of gym badges? And although I didn't play the Pokemon games growing up, I was a lifelong fan of the series. I even used to watch the Pokemon show when vacationing on Cape Cod during the summers, because I could only do that there because we didn't have cable at home. Man, my childhood was rough. But recently, society made the mistake of giving me disposable income, which means I can buy whatever I want, which means that I bought the new remastered Pokemon Diamond on release day when it came out last fall. And actually, I bought it with my roommate Alan, who is a true lifelong fan with the gym badges to show for it. I know, it's kind of adorable of us, but we took off and we played the absolute hell out of the game with high intentions of filling out the Pokédex and exploring every little nook and cranny that the game had to offer. And in equally adorable fashion, we did it all together, not letting the other one play unless the other one was there to witness, like a parole officer. We amassed a dangerously mediocre party, just like the ones we used to throw back in college. Before we knew it, we were at the Final Four. We stocked up on goodies at the Pokemart and we set off into the Pokemon League. Aaron, Bertha, Flint, and Lucian fell like flies to our party of underleveled Pokemon, and before I knew it, we were at the final boss.
Stakes feel so much higher right now.
Why is this the most beautiful music I've ever heard in my entire life? But after wiping to Cynthia a few times and cursing the Elder Gods, we turned off the game and we said we'd come back to it when we had calmed down and when Alan had stopped crying. Now, Alan's tears eventually dried, but we never did come back to beat Cynthia. That is, until I got the idea for this video. I waited for the day when Alan was especially emotionally stable, and I asked him if he'd be down to take another crack at beating Pokemon. We hopped right back into the Sinnoh region to show Cynthia who's boss. Thankfully, we had saved just before the final fight, so it was just a short walk and an extremely stressful elevator ride to the final boss. I reminded Alan that it was just a pixelated character to help calm him down, and we put our game faces on.
Bad to the bone.
She knows that. We tried our best. We remembered every detail we could, but the fight was difficult.
All right, this is...
Alan, crunch numbers on this guy.
That's a grass type. It's what? Never mind. Hit her with it again. I'm feeling very good about this. I'm feeling very bad about this. I'm actually feeling horrible about this.
But soon, the battle was, well, it was Rapscredoodles.
Yeah, this is Rapscredoodles.
But we weren't going to give up so easily, and we quickly reset the game and we tried again. Now Alan, the series veteran, was giving me sage advice, talking into my ear, whispering sweet nothings from time to time, which just was distracting, but we gave it an honest second attempt. I know this song from jazz.
I know the song from my childhood nightmares. Yeah. You see, one more could get it, and one more's not going to get it.
But soon we wiped for a second time. It looked like our Pokemon might be a little too weak, a little too underleveled to beat the game's penultimate challenge. However, our spirits weren't dashed, and we made one last effort to make every possible right choice, praying to the once cursed Elder Gods to give us a favorable fight. And after 40 minutes of tense, painstaking battle, it all came down to legitimately one final move and one final decision.
If she doesn't, all we have to do is get him up one more time and rev him point and we win. If she doesn't use the max restore. If she uses it, we lost. That's it. I'm telling you.
Is Empoleon faster with Quick Claw?
I don't know.
After deliberating like it was a courtroom, we made our choice.
Catch the garbage. We're out of revives. I think, he has the Quick Claw, right? I think he can win. Dragon Claw, do it.
At this point, my hands were tingling like they do after a single green tea because I have the caffeine tolerance of a toddler, but all that was left to do was press the button and pray.
No. we lost. If he toughs it out, we lost. That is so.
That was like an hour.
That was so disappointing.
Of course, we left for a third time, and I was so upset that I left to go to Mexico for the weekend in a fit of rage. I later learned I had a wedding to attend in the country, which was very convenient, but I told Alan that I'd try again when we came back. In the back of my head, I was still worried that we wouldn't be strong enough, but I came back to a delightful surprise. While I was gone, Alan had spent countless hours that weekend farming against the Final Four just to get our Pokemon a little bit stronger, so that we had a chance against Cynthia. It looked like we might be able to beat the game after all. So we hopped back in and we were taking no prisoners.
Put Dialga out and use Roar of Time. It's the trump card. It beats everyone. I stake my honor on this move.
We figured out a little bit of cheese with one of her Pokemon, and we abused the shit out of that with no shame whatsoever. But we could have guaranteed Jirachi Restore.
Yeah, but Jirachi's a piece of garbage. She's not even canon. Okay, she's canon, but in the movies. Wait, did it not die?
No, it did half.
Half? You know what you gotta do is use Roar of Time again.
Tensions were high, and finally we had just one Pokemon remaining, the Garchomp that had wiped our party countless times in previous battles.
Sacrifice Luxray and
Full res.
Full res Dialga. Dialga's got this one move. It's called Roar of Time.
But he's not fast enough for it.
Hey, he's gonna tough it out and he's gonna one-shot him with Roar of Time, I'm telling you.
Quickly, Vietnam flashbacks were coming back. I was ready for him to wipe our party once again. We were nervous. We weren't sure if it would work out, but thankfully, we had Roar of Time.
If we put Dialga in right now, he toughs it out and we win with Roar of Time in one shot, I'll shake my head. Come on, just tough it out. Oh my, he used swords! Yes! If this hits,
Could this be it?
I think this could be it. Don't miss. Oh my god. Just do it, please.
Oh my god.
Wait, is that it? Are we? Oh.
My man.
Wow, that is a great feeling.
Oh my god.
I'm so happy right now.
Oh my god.
I'm not shaving my head.
Cynthia fell, and we immediately started reminiscing on our perilous journey. Smiles crawled onto our faces, and we enjoyed one of the most relaxing end credit sequences ever created. I'm not gonna lie, it was amazing finally completing a Pokemon game, something I'd wanted to do since I was a little kid. And it was even better knowing that I had done it with my best friend.
Nobody pedaling that slow staying upright.
But let's not get too sappy. There was still that question hanging over my head. I still didn't know what mental block I had that kept me from completing any games unless I turned it into a piece of long-form content. So I put my thinking cap on. And after thinking about it for a bit, I came to the corny realization that for all these games, I had enjoyed the journey so much that I didn't want it to end. So instead of doing the rational adult thing and finishing the game and telling myself that I could go and replay it whenever I wanted, I would instead make up an excuse as to why I was saving it for later. For some reason, in my dumb brain, knowing that I still have a fight to conquer makes me feel like I'm still enjoying the journey, rather than looking back on something that I had enjoyed but finished. It helped me avoid feeling like the game was in the past. But the more I thought about this, the more I realized how stupid it was. I can't avoid nostalgia by leaving a game unfinished, and leaving an unfinished game and not coming back to it also puts the game in the past, so really, I was accomplishing nothing. And today I learned how satisfying finishing a game can be. In no way did I feel like the games I beat were lost to me. I actually feel like the memories that I have that I associated with the game are now improved because they're no longer a question mark in the back of my brain. So I made a mid-year's resolution to finish more games. I know some people resolve to lose weight or to read more books, but no, I'm way above that. I want to increase my screen time. I want to purchase more pixels. And the only time I'll be reading is when the credits roll. Speaking of which, it's about time I finished up this video, so if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe for more content, hit that bell so you don't miss a damn thing. And until next time, this has been Meraki. I appreciate all you guys. Bye-bye.